Alright folks, I know in Mod 7 I didn't get a chance to show you some examples, so I do want to show you some examples. So take a gander. Alright, let's take a problem like this one. The limit as x goes, delta x, I'm sorry, goes to 0, x plus delta x quantity squared, and I believe it's minus delta x. I'm sorry, whoa, I can't even speak. I can't speak because this is like the 4th time I'm doing this video. I spent all 2 hours at school trying to make it happen. It didn't work. So it's the limit as delta x approaches 0 of the quantity x plus delta x quantity squared minus x squared all over delta x. Now you might be saying, what the heck is this delta x stuff? Well, it's something from science. We're going to treat delta x as just a totally different variable. Different than x. Like a y, if you will. Alright? Or a g or an f. Whatever your favorite variable is, that's what we're teaching it at. That's how we're treating it. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to FOIL the top. Well, no, that's wrong. The first thing I'm going to do is try to plug in 0. And if you notice, I get 0. Here, if I plug in delta x to be 0, I do get 0 over 0. That's an indeterminate form. So we're going to have to use some factoring. Well, just looking at it, I don't see any way to factor it. So, to do this problem, I'm going to FOIL it. Back to the FOIL thing. So I'm going to bring down my limit. And as I do these problems, hello, I'm over here. We're going to bring down the limit as delta x goes to 0. And it's going to be x squared plus 2x plus the delta x squared. That's the FOILage. And now this guy comes along for the ride. I'm talking about this guy right here, just coming along for the ride. There he is. And that's all over delta x. I hope you know that shortcut that whenever you FOIL something, it's square the first, square the last, and double the inner product. So multiply x times delta x and double it. Oh, I didn't do that. See? You weren't here to help me or correct me. What would I do without you guys? 2x delta x. I might have even said it, but I wrote it incorrectly. Okay, we're back. Nice, nice. So now, over here, I am going to cancel some stuff like these guys. Those cancel. So I'll bring down the limit. Don't forget to bring down the limit. Until you actually set that limit going or replace for the limit, it has to come with you. Has to be a full math expression. I mentioned in mod, I guess 3, that make sure you do it on tests and quizzes, okay? Or even stuff for AP. But in your notes, it's okay if you start one and just go and end. It's your notebook, all right? So now I'm left with, I think, 2x delta x plus delta x squared all over delta x. Now, I'm going to factor, bring that limit along, see? I practice what I preach. And I bring that limit along, and I factor out a delta x. When I factor out a delta x, it becomes 2x plus delta x. And then on the bottom is delta x. These problems with these delta x's will do this. Because your first goal is to do what was in red. Your second goal is to do what I highlight here in green. And that's for the delta x's to go away. So I'm now left with, scroll this, I'm now left with the limit as delta x approaches 0 of just 2x plus delta x. And if you remember in class, this is the other function that filled in the hole. Right? There was a hole, we filled in the hole. Now I send this to 0, and my answer turns out to be 2x. That's it. Follow your algebra rules, and you can't go wrong. It's okay if you don't get a number answer. It's the first time we didn't get a number answer when doing limits. All right, don't be nervous. I've got a couple for you to try. All right, I'm going to put them on a different slide here. Let's see if I can do that. Because I'm also going to make, I don't know if I can make this slide available. I think the video is fine. But here's some question. Here's at least one that I want you to do. It's number 63 in the book if you're playing along at home. And it's the limit as delta x goes to 0. This is what I want you to do tonight for tomorrow in class. And we have x plus delta x quantity squared. It's going to get lengthy, but don't let the length deter you. Okay? And then plus 1 minus x squared. And I'm looking at a book, so that's why you see my head turning and turning and turning. So that's okay. Want to get it right. Get it right there the first time. All right, here we go. So that's the one I want you to try. All right? I don't know what you're supposed to get as an answer. Probably, I'm guessing 2x minus 2. It's just a guess. I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, 2x minus 2 is probably what you should get. So, if you want to know the answer. But you have the odds in the back of the book. I know some of you don't have the book. Yada, yada, yada. That's dealing with x's and delta x's and factoring. Of course, you have your easy ones that you saw in the video of factoring. And maybe we should do one of those. What do you think? Maybe we'll do one. We'll do a quick one. Here's a quick one. You try this one. I'm sure you'll get it. The limit as x goes to negative 1 of x squared minus 1 over x plus 1. All right, you try that one too. That one turns out to be like 45 or something like that. All right? Now, I want to get silly and crazy. And I want to show you something else. So you were doing these problems at home for 1.3, and you come across something that looks like this. All right, we're going to solve for the limit as x goes to 0 of the square root of 2 plus x minus square root of 2 all over x. I want to make sure I had it right. All right, hold on. I got to get a drink here. I'm saying a lot of stuff. No, it's not a beer. It's a Seagram sparkling seltzer water. If they were only paying me money to put this on the video, I'd be making some money here. All right. So, what I try to do is I try to plug in 0, and I realize I get on the top the square root of 2 minus the square root of 2, that's 0, over 0. 0 over 0, indeterminate form. Okay. Let's look to factor. No. Nothing factors. So let's rationalize. And the big key is that there's square roots there. So we're going to rationalize the numerator. Yes, you're used to rationalizing the denominator. We're going to rationalize the numerator. We're going to multiply it by this over itself, because then it doesn't change the value of the fraction. Well, the bottom, by the way, on the bottom, don't go multiplying stuff out. Keep it like this. All right, this Megillah over here. All right, we're going to keep it like this. On top, watch what happens. We got this quantity times this quantity. Kind of like x minus 2 times x plus 2. Whoa, we're lagging. There it is. X plus 2. When you do that, the middle term will drop out when you go ahead and multiply them. Or those two binomials. Same thing's going to happen up top here. I'm going to get the square root times the square root. That's gone. So it's just going to be 2 plus x, and then minus 2. That's it. Because this times that just gives me what's inside, and then this times that gives me what's inside. All right, now you're home free. Algebra should take over, folks. This goes out. What we wanted. The x's will go out. Hallelujah. This is what you're really looking to do. You're looking to get that x out of there. That was the problem in the denominator to begin with. Now, we're left with the limit as x approaches 0 of 1 over this big Megillah. Megillah Gorilla. You don't know Megillah Gorilla. It was a cartoon. Maybe you do. I don't know. It's kind of old, though. So, I'm old school. I hope this camera's working, because usually when I have the camera, I can't see myself. It should be pretty good. So now, send the limit. Go to 0. This guy goes to 0, and I'm left with 1 over, looks like square root of 2 plus square root of 2 is 2 square roots of 2. Done. You can leave it like that. You don't have to worry about rationalizing. We don't do that here in calculus. I know people that had missed shipping, I mean, they might get shot if they left a problem like that in pre-calc, but here we leave it. If you want to go ahead and rationalize it to the square root of 2 over 4, enjoy yourself, but we're happy with it. We're happy there. Recapping, what we did was multiplied by the conjugate. Then we went over here. We looked for things to cancel. You should have stuff cancel, especially the x's. Then on the bottom, send it to the limit, and you got it. Any questions? I can't hear you, so it doesn't matter. Just kidding. We're getting to the point, by the way, if you start to really fall behind, you need to come see me for help. It is not uncommon for me to have a lot of lunchtime help people. Okay? I got one for you to try. You knew that would happen. I got one for you to try. Let me have you try. I can't even find one. This one's nice. This is number 56. Lawrence Taylor's number. For those Giants fans. If you're a Giants fan, you already got you got my heart. I had Giants red and blue above this, by the way. How am I doing here? And then the limit as x approaches -3. So that's one you are going to try right there. That's -3, by the way. I know it's not coming out very great, but that's it. I also want you to try una más. One more. All right? I want you to try a problem that looks like this. I'm looking for it with my eyes here. I know where it is, and I like it. The sine of 3t over 2t and the limit as t goes to 0. One of the things you learned was that the sine of x over x, the limit as x goes to 0, is equal to 1. You hopefully are going to use that concept. You need these two to be the same. So somehow you have to multiply the bottom and the top to get those two the same. Remember, that's an angle. So it's not 3 sine t. It's not the same. All right? That's going to be a challenging problem for you. It's actually number 69. All right? Then maybe a couple more I can give you to play with, and we can call it a day, I guess. Let's give you something like, let's give you one like this. 54, which is just limit as x approaches 4 of x squared minus 5x plus 4. This is kind of like a quiz question I'm going to ask you tomorrow at the end of the class. It's the last thing you're going to do. All right, and that's what we got. So you're going to try those problems, see what you come up with, and I will see you tomorrow.